Hello everyone, this is Professor Walton, and today I'm going to be going over the Recast and Rationale assignment. First, I'm going to review the assignment sheet. Then, I'm going to go over the UC website that the library has devoted to this assignment as well. And it contains some advice for how to handle some of your material that could be copywritten. And it also contains a listing of free tools that you can use to complete the recast itself. After that, I will follow up with a few tips that I have for you based on my past experience working with students in this course, and hopefully we can head off some of the problems that they had for you, and you can learn from their mistakes. Okay, so looking at the assignment sheet, this assignment, it has two parts to it. There's the rationale, and then there is the recast project itself. The rationale should be 1 to 2 pages long. And remember that when we say 1 to 2 pages long, this means it needs to be at least 1 full page, not 3/4 of a page, not half of a page, but an actual full page. The first thing you should do is either print out this assignment sheet or save it to your desktop. You want to make sure that you can refer back to it as often as necessary while you're completing this assignment. And especially considering that it's the end of the semester, it can be easy to get caught up in other things and become forgetful, so make sure you either save it to your desktop or print it out. So the rationale, needs to be 1 to 2 pages. The project itself can be as long as it needs to be. And I'll explain a little bit more about that as we go forward. So the recast involves taking an object and remodeling or restructuring it into a new form. And by that, I mean that this assignment is going to require you to take the argument from your researched argument paper that you've just created and recast that argument into a new medium. What do I mean by new medium? By new medium, I mean it can be a PowerPoint. You can recast it as a short movie. You can recast it as a comic strip. You can recast it in several other ways, but it needs to be reimagined in a new medium. And you also have to consider a different audience and focus in mind as well. So by that we mean, think of, instead of just focusing the paper on your professors, think about a more general audience as well. So whatever your topic is, let's say for instance, your topic could be why everyone should eat 3 jelly beans a day. And by the way, I do not advocate this diet. If your argument is why everyone should eat 3 jelly beans a day, and here's why, then you're going to write that paper as you've already done, and then now instead of telling that same argument to us as your instructors, you're going to be creating a different way to present the argument to a general audience. That might include explaining details that you might not have had to have explained for us as your professors. Because let's face it, if you have a different audience, that means explaining the information in a different way, right? Or presenting it in a different way. So you're going to have to think about that as well. The goals of this project is for you to be able to share your work and not only to share your work with us in a creative way, but also for you to have a chance to use your critical thinking skills in a creative fashion. So for that, back to that first part of the assignment. Actually, let's go down here. For the rationale, you're going to be discussing the purpose of your project. You're going to tell us why you chose the medium or genre that you chose for recasting your argument. You're going to tell us how you changed your argument or how you changed the communication of your argument for this different audience. And then you're also going to talk about the rhetorical choices that you made in creating your recast. Remember ethos, pathos, and logos? We still expect you to use those. So not only are you going to use those in the actual recast itself, but you need to explain that within your rationale. You need to explain how you use those. And if you want to lean more on pathos than ethos, that's fine. But make sure that you make it clear if you decided not to use one of those tools and why. So there you have it for the rationale. The rationale is merely an argument about why you've chosen to create the recast that you have, the way you've done it, and about why you believe that it's effective. The second part is the actual recast itself. Now, for the rationale should go ahead and be in third person. So it should be he, she, they. You should not write it from I, or from the I perspective. Write it from the third person point of view. Now the recast itself can be written from whatever perspective you want it to be written from, right? The rationale should meet all of the requirements that a paper for this course should meet. It should be MLA formatted. Go back to the week 2 video if you don't remember what that means. It should include a works cited if you are referring to works there. And that's the more formal piece, the rationale. But the recast itself is something that's meant to be creative. And if you're writing, say, a comic strip, I've had several students, it seems like I have at least 3 students per class each semester choose to write a comic strip or draw a comic strip, excuse me. And when they do this, it doesn't have to be in perfect English. And it can be from whatever point of view you need it to be from because it's creative, right? And so we're not really putting any kind of license on your creativity there. Although I would say that it might be a good idea to talk about why you've put it in the perspective that you've put it in. Or if you have written a comic strip and drawn a comic strip and the people within it, let's say they're people, speak to each other in slang, then you might say why they speak so informally. And you would do that analysis or discussion within your rationale. You do not have to do that within the recast itself. Think of the recast as the creative project version of your researched argument. Think of the rationale as an explanation in third person MLA format for your recast. So if you look at the assignment sheet, we mentioned that the first thing you need to do is choose a recast format. And if you look at the student guide, pages 53 to 57, they have an entire set of listings that include various tools that you can use and various formats that they've suggested for the recast. You can choose any of those. They range from a blog to, I think they have blog posts. You can create a brief brochure. I've gotten quite a few of those. For the blog post, I would say that you would only need, or for the blog, excuse me, I would say that you would need to create a blog and then create 2 to 3 posts within that blog so that you can have enough to carry through your message. They also suggest the comic strip. And worst case scenario, you can't think of anything at all, there's always PowerPoint. And that's a tool that you can rely on. But yeah, please go to pages 53 to 57 of the student guide to look at that. Now, next up, I want to take you to the UC Library's website. And if you go to, in order to get to this, I'm going to take you to the weekly work section. And for us, it's going to be in week 13. You'll see things a little differently from my end right here, but this is essentially what it'll look like this week for you. And you're going to see a link right here in the reading section to UC Library's free online tools for the recast. If we click that, you will find a listing of various tools that can be used. And there are quite a few here. And this is regularly updated. I know when I go through it, if I find that something's not working, I let the librarians know. So you have quite a few blogs that you can sign up for free. There's Photoshop Express. There are, regarding graphs and charts, all kinds of things here. Glyphy is fun. I've never used Wordle. Not sure about that one. If you want to tell a narrative, a story, Storify is funny as a tool. It's kind of a little strange, but if you can get through some of the glitches, it's a great tool. I've heard good things about VoiceThread. Haiku Deck, I've not experienced much, but Prezi is wonderful. Prezi is a nice alternative to the typical presentation that you might give through PowerPoint. So you might want to think about that as well as an option, especially if you haven't worked with Prezi yet. This would be a good opportunity for you to jump in and use it, because you'll certainly either see it or be using it for other classes. And then there's quite a few through here as well. And if you find that, for instance, if your major is graphic design and you want to use tools that you already have, that's great. Just make sure that you can create whatever you create and save it in a format that I can look at it in. Alright? You want to make sure that I don't have to download a special software to view whatever you create. That's all we ask. Now, let me move our viewing over here a little bit. So I mentioned that the UC libraries have a special page for this assignment, and this is considered the Unit 3 for some reason. We have it lumped in Unit 3 because it's the final assignment series within this course. So we have the free online tools, then there are the best practices for various presentation materials. And here they go through different ways that you might consider presenting information. So if you really do want to print something out, or you want it to be printed, or you're into print just generally, you might enjoy creating a brochure or a newsletter. I know that's the kind of thing that I used to really be into. Not that I'm doing it on weekends for fun or anything, but you know what I mean. There's poster design, and you can create a small poster for us if you would like to. Since this is an online course, you do need to make sure that it's created in a format that we can open and that you can send to us. Another valuable section to look at here is the copyright and attribution of sources. You want to make sure that you're not breaking any copyright rules when you're using any of the tools that you're using or any of the material that you use. So follow these rules carefully and look through here. There's a lot of public domain material that you can use to avoid this, and they also have listed some sources for public domain. Project Gutenberg has quite a bit of material, and if you click more, it just tells a little bit more about that. And USA Gov has that. Also, you can go to, if you really want to look into some copyright-free pictures for your material, you can look at the New York Library online. The public library online has a significant collection of copyright-free resources for you to use. Okay, so that's what we have to cover regarding the libraries themselves. Now, if you need any help, you may want to reach out to Langsam Library through this link. You can also contact Circulation and Multimedia Services here. And they often have software on their computers that you might not have access to otherwise. And I know if, depending on your field that you're in as well, if you're in a design field, for instance, I keep referring back to that one because I've dealt mostly with students who've had that issue come up. There are certain computer labs that you can use that have those softwares as well, because those are very expensive. Okay, let's go back to the assignment sheet. And to get to that, you're going to go into Recast and Rationale under Assignments. When you do that, you'll notice the assignment sheet's there. You will not see this. This is going to be where you submit your final draft. That'll pop up after November 26th. Okay. There's a couple of things I'd like to point out as we're wrapping up this video. The first one is, a lot of students will ask whether or not they can change topics at this point. The answer is no. You cannot change topics. You have to use the same topic that you use in the researched argument paper in this assignment as well. There are some rare exceptions to that rule. One could be that if one of us gave you feedback saying that the topic was not appropriate, then that would be grounds for changing your topic. Or if for some reason we've talked with you or you've talked with us and we've made a decision that you can indeed change your topic. Again, that's something that Professor Coster and we rarely make that decision. In order for that to happen, you would have to interact with us. Please do not decide independently on your own that you're going to change your topic. You don't want to provide an argument about lowering minimum wage or raising minimum wage or any other plethora of topics you could be writing about. Don't just decide to change it. So just the best thing to do is to stick with what you've written about. I know you've covered it in a couple of assignments now, but that's precisely why we want you to stick with it at this point. At this rate, it makes the most sense for you to stick with it here. In fact, it's going to be better for you as far as a learning outcome is concerned, for you to stay with the same topic, if at all possible. Well, I shouldn't say if at all possible. Most definitely possible. Anyway, as I said, the only way you should be changing your topic is if you've had an interaction with Professor Coster and I in which we've explicitly said, okay, you should change your topic or refocus your topic. Now, with that said, most people at this stage do stay with the same angle they've had. That means the same side of the argument. And I would also suggest staying on the same side of the argument. So that's the next question I often get is, can I change sides? Can I be against providing Section 8 housing for lower and middle income for lower and middle income families? Fill in the blanks to be more specific. Stick with the side that you're on. Again, you're a lot more likely to get permission to do that, but you need to work with us on that, and I really do advise that you stay where you are. So stick to your topic, stick to the side you've already been arguing for. Please do not, so the third thing I notice come up is failure to decide how to recast the assignment. And by that I mean indecision regarding what medium you're going to choose. So let's say you are arguing that every child in the United States should be vaccinated, and here's why, and then your 3 supporting reasons or supporting points of evidence. If that's your argument and you want to choose a medium, choose it sooner rather than later. Choose something that you enjoy working with. If you enjoy blogging, make a blog. Creating a blog and making 3 posts is going to take you less time if it's something that you enjoy than making a video if it's something that you've never done before. Now, again, I guess I should step back. I want to encourage you to do whatever you feel that you want to try. If you want to try to make a video and you've never done it before, please try it. I'm all in support of it. But be aware that videos are probably the creatures that take the longest. And by the way, that noise you just heard was my dog snoring. Yes, if you make it to the ends of these videos, sometimes you hear weird things like Professor Walton's dog snore. Okay, get back to this. So, make sure you stick with your argument unless there's a really good reason why not, or like it's not an effective argument and we think, we've talked with you about it and you need to choose something else. Stick with the same side again unless there's a big reason why not. And then choose your medium carefully and quickly. Now, carefully, you can be careful and not spend the next 2 weeks trying to figure out how to do it. I advise that you choose it. I would not spend more than a week trying to figure out what you're going to work with. Do not do that to yourself. I've seen, I have at least 4 people per class each semester struggle with this so hard that they give themselves several days, just like 2 days to do the assignment because they've put it off and they couldn't figure out what they were going to do. PowerPoint, if you turn in a PowerPoint, that's cool. We like PowerPoints, that's fine. Try to make it creative, make it detailed. You're going to have to put some effort into it. Do not just slap together a PowerPoint. Usually people who put together PowerPoints are either very much into PowerPoint or they're people who wait till the last minute. Be the person who's really into PowerPoint, okay? Get a better grade. Do not forget to write the rationale. Don't think you can get away with not turning one in. I mean, you can. It's just going to be, you're going to miss a significant amount of points on your grade. It's enough to make you fail the assignment. It seems like we have at least one person a semester try that. Don't do that. Do not do that to yourself. All right. I think that's enough for now. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. More than happy to work with you on anything. Try to keep this simple. Try to have fun with this assignment. Don't let it beat you down too much. Just choose a medium that you enjoy or a genre you enjoy and that you already know a little bit about, so that while you're doing it, you enjoy it, you already know a little bit about it. When we enjoy things, they tend to not be as tedious, and it shows. And make sure you keep sight of what your argument is. Don't lose sight of your argument within all this. All right. Take care until next time.